Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao, Friday night, and we are very cold here, freezing in Iowa. Uh, Me and my wife are working on AI courses. She was taking a course to be a prompt engineer and also learning other things too. She is our administrative assistant for our online company. She looks out everything. So she likes to learn the skills that she's seeking for, and so that she can manage people better, which I encourage very much. So uh, today morning I was at a friend's room. We were talking about burnout, and things came up, and I was thinking about the courses that I have been giving to people for several years now. But some of the things I do tell them while they come to me for consultations, like twice a week for about 12 weeks. Are kind of very personal for them and very tailored to them. It's not like a prescription, it's like a working with a person where he is or she is, and then taking them from there to where they want to be, where they want to have the transformation. Suppose they're emotionally exhausted and don't have any will to go back to work and don't really enjoying the work anymore, then transforming that uh, and getting over their own limitations, self beliefs, or limiting self beliefs, or the thoughts and all that, and gaining the inner resilience so that they can discover the fun of life, joy of life, being of service to anybody as a doctor, especially because mostly I work with doctors and nurses, right? Mainly doctors, right? So what happens is they will kind of wash off all these impurities from them and then go back really rare. So in that context, I began to rewrite some of the things I teach and all that, which I may not be putting on paper, right? So I was working on that this morning till now. Things are going pretty well. Then some parents popped up, Christina popped up, so I went and talked to her a little bit. Then this morning, being aware and all through the day being attentive and vacating the mind in the PM is kind of my prescription to encounter our information age, information overload in particular, and burnout resulting from that, right? So I thought I will tell you about it. That's why I came up here. Come up and tell me, what do you think about this? Do you want explanation about it, or do you felt cheeky, or what? You can tell me about it. Then we can have a conversation about that. I will try to give you the full picture of that, and then you can ask me questions if you have any questions that you want to me talk to you about. See, when we get up in the morning, what we normally do these days, we're opening up our devices and looking at them, right? And also we get our thought immediately operating. We don't know what is going on around us, and we can get immersed in the thought world, okay, or train of thought, or you can take matrix of thought. And that is getting more and more these days because we have so much of the world connected, and everything is coming through news, events, gossip. Everything is coming through that, asking us to buy this, buy that, or whatever, right? Uh, I think that's something we need to guard against, and then we should be intentional of what is that we're going to read, what is that we're going to pay attention to, that kind of thing. Suppose if you are, for me, being a doctor is like a immense responsibility, and also it is important we take it kind of seriously in that sense, right? So you don't want to really be not having any energy in your body, and you don't think I can deal with this people anymore, that kind of thing. There are a lot of people come in the morning. We do what's called a morning report, right? When we exchange patient care from the last night people to us, and those people are eager to go home, and they don't want to spend too much time. They just want to write something and give it to you, or they tell you the EMR, you go and read that and all that. But if you don't have your energy to chat a little bit socially, then in the morning you just came up, fresh day, right? But that is the problem with the people who are coming in too. When I saw all that, I told them, why don't you have a program in the morning that can energize your body, that can focus your mind, and that they keep your heart on servicing the patients. They said, "Oh, this is all stuff. We don't have time for it." But then later on, they realized that they should have developed this inner resilience. They would have lasted longer. You know so this is like a disciplined routine the yoga person taught me about it, and then employing that applicable to our modern life was very valuable. So that's why I thought when I talked about this in one room, then I said, oh yeah, that's a good way to communicate to people what is that I'm talking about. What do you do with your mind? What do you do with your thoughts? What do you do with your inputs from so many sources? That is why first thing in the morning, especially from darkness to light, you are coming in the morning and also in the night when you're going from the wakefulness to sleep. That's the time. And when you're coming back from the sleep to wakefulness, that's the time you really want to be careful and you really want to take a moment and be present. That's why be in that awareness, not in your thought matrix, not your thought network, but in the awareness. All those other things can wait forever, but take care of your nervous system that way in the morning. And then cultivating that awareness to be in the present, take it to the work and be attentive all day. That means whatever you do, give complete attention to that, right? And then in the evening, when you go to sleep, try to keep your mind empty or vacate it if it is full of so many thoughts, hurts, or insults, or whatever that you have gone through the day. If you can empty them at the same time that are happening, that's wonderful. If you cannot do that, at least in the evening before you go to bed, empty them and see what energy you have in the morning when you wake up in awareness, not in a lot of thoughts. Okay, if it is important, write them down, but then empty them at night. Okay, that's what my days are usually. That's why I don't have the brain fog. I don't have so many thoughts residing in me, but I have insights from those conversations and not the rough thoughts we need to store. We don't have to store. That's what we are doing. We are kind of trying to be in the thought world, be in our mind, not in real life of the presence. Why most people are there? Because they are engaged in their mind in the past or the future, and then they forget about the present. Does that make sense to anybody? If it is, then tell me what do you think about it, and we can also see whether you're already doing it. And if you are doing it, tell us what are the process that you follow. This is definitely needed for all the intellectuals, all the people who are really. Uh, Doing the intellectual work and also don't know how to really protect their brain in a way, right? So uh, this is something that I try to employ during the morning routine. And I tell them, try to create a space between you and your thoughts. You can observe them, then you can really see whether they are going negative or positive. And in the negative, you can think something positive around that thought, and then you will be able to overcome the negativity going further deep, right? It's very simple. Suppose somebody has done something to you that's very hurtful to you, and then you can go on repeating that and then getting hurt again, or you can go on say maybe he doesn't know, he doesn't understand, and that's why he's doing. Let it go. It's all gone, done. Forgive and forget. Forget and forgive. That kind of attitude. We say that, but if you do that at the time when you're hurting, that's very effective for you not to go through the hurt, not to suffer, and not to lose your energy. That's a, if you get angry or if you get really worked up about something, all the churning that you're doing with the thoughts and the feelings is going to drain you. It used to be, people used to say that that's oh, we're just being human being. But yoga showed me, no, that's the weaker side of human being. You don't have to be like that. You can be more positive, more inclined into things, and then you'll be much better. Okay. So that's why I kind of looked at this effects of information age on our mind and how we are already in this thought train, network of thought train, and we reinforce it by feeding it the stuff from all day, right? We don't know how to take something, do something, and then finish it off. Thought is that, like that kind of thing. Suppose you go with that morning routine, you picked up, okay, I want to be in the present, and then you picked up that presence and you take it like a perfume through the day. So when you go to your work, all you have to do is, I'm going to be present in whatever I do. That means I'm going to be attentive, giving complete attention to whatever I'm doing. And at the end of it, you'll feel really accomplished a lot without getting drained, without getting stressed, without getting burned out and all that. So that's why this is so important. And then a lot of people may not be able to finish off things as they're happening, but then they have a time that they can create for themselves. It could be just a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and then just recollect everything that is happening from morning till evening on that day, and then write them important things down and put it on device, and then rest of the trivial stuff just to forget about it for the night. The same also, the important things that you wrote down are to be remembered and followed next day, they also empty them. And this could be a very good effective technique of taking hold of your thoughts and feelings and not be carried away by them and then acting like a victim for them. That's what many people do. And they say, oh, I'm just being human. I can feel like this. I can feel hurt and all that. And they get angry when you give this kind of way to keep our, it's like a monk's mind, how they don't react, how they don't take everything personal, how they forgive very easily, how they give you love even when you are trying to hurt them. So because they keep their mind very fresh in the present all the time. Okay, I think that's a blessing. If we can do at least half of it, I think that's a blessing. It's not a comparison. It's a question of seeing the value of it and doing it ourselves. That's important. It doesn't matter. They are very good. That's fine. They can be like that. I don't have to compare with a monk, but I can understand how the monk keeps his mind and then maybe use it for my own advantage in my life. Okay, that's what I always try. People who are burned out, who are stressed out, who ask me these thoughts, oh my god, they hold the head like this and they say these are going on continuously. I feel like putting a pistol and blowing myself off because it doesn't stop. And some people commit suicide because of that. So they don't discuss it with anybody. It gets intense, 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 and then they do that. Okay, so that's the saying I think you should think about. You should look at it and all that. Um, there are a lot of people here that may be interested in this, and if you have any questions or anything that you don't understand or anything that you find objectionable, let me know. Then I'll have a dialogue with you and then we can go through that. There's nothing like a argumentation. There's nothing like I have to show you knowledge and all. It's not that. It is that how you are living your life in the present moment or not. Either you will be in the present moment or you will be in the head in the form of going to the past and going to the future, and that has got some problems with that. Once you understand and you are start living in the present, life is beautiful because whatever is in front of you, you deal with it, and then If things go okay, that's fine. You can preserve the insight into that. If things go the wrong way, you can really learn from that, and then that way, that negativity also becomes positive for you. Okay. But live in the present. That's what I always trying to do, and not you don't have to try again because I don't want to go to the past and future in any event. So when I'm in the present moment, here and now, I live actually in the life. That is the way to be with the life. As I understood, um, and this overthinking, negative thinking, or too much thinking, all those things are there. There's so much stimuli for that, but if you allow them to operate on you, then only they will become the negative factors that we are pointing out. Suppose you don't have to listen to the news 24 hours a day, then a lot like a 1 hour in the evening, and then find we catch up with that. Or unless there is a threatening weather, something emergency, yeah, that's different. Otherwise, you don't have to listen to the same negative story about a political opponent over and over and again, and then just really go by what is happening superficially. But basically, all these politicians are for themselves. They don't really care for the being of yours. They may say that, but you can take that with a pinch of salt, all the political news, like that. What is happening in other people's lives or celebrities, whatever that is. So that's people say, well, it's life, but then is that the life, or is that pushing you away from the real life? That's the question you have to put yourself, and then you will discover what it is to be human being, what it is to be inwardly looking, what it is to be discovering the abundance within us, and what it is to be in the moment and serve people and all that. That's all beautiful. Then the human being, the life becomes beautiful for themselves. Okay. So it is a topic I would like to present more often, and maybe certainly in my morning routine, so that you wake up. You are not really thinking a lot of things, but you are paying attention to the life around you, the pets, the plants, the people, the weather, everything in the present, what it is happening, just observe them, and then you will go to the work with that present moment awareness cultivated in the morning, and doing everything with that kind of attitude. Just be attentive to whatever you are doing, complete attention. By the way, this is the way to really develop our attention span. If you do multitasking and divide your attention among 3 or 4 things also, then your attention span will go down. But of those 3, 4 things, you take only one thing at a time. Do that completely with complete attention, and then after it has ended, take up the next one. And that's what I do on the patients, right? One patient at a time. And also, I'll put only one patient on the EMR instead of opening up 4 or 5 patients, so I will attend to that patient completely, then I will close him, and then I'll open the next patient. That kind of thing gives order to your mind, and also you're not confused, you're not making a mistake because you're going from one patient to other patient, jumping around. Some people may say, I'm efficient, do it, but then eventually they will tire out because their attention span is going down. That's why when it requires for them to be attentive in a meeting or in a discussion with a patient or patient relative, they are not able to be attentive, and then they suffer because of that. Okay, so anybody else is also same thing. The longer, the more you are attentive to what is happening in front of you, the better your attention span be. That's why in the morning routine, when I'm doing the yoga, what do I tell? I say, be attentive of the air, the sensation of the air touching your nose as it comes in and out. Be aware of your body parts, be in touch with them, so that if they are tense, if they are having a lot of stiffness, or if they're having some pain and all that, you want to be attentive to that. That way You are here and now at the moment of when you are doing the stretches and breathing. Okay, that is the one of the principle I say: stretch, breathe. But the third principle is be here and now. And the fourth principle is if the thoughts arise, don't go and pursue them, right? Don't go pursue them. Just be with them, watch them, and end them. If you can do that, you save a lot of energy. Otherwise, thoughts will be going all over your mind, swirling all the time. And don't, no need, especially with this explosion of information, this has become a real threat for a lot of people, you know, and they are getting stressed out easily, they are getting anxious easily, or they're getting depressed easily, and they don't have the capacity to deal with whatever is going on in their life, you know. And especially the kids, you know, if they kind of go that way, they're having problems with attention span. See, I'm learning IT skills to make the to understand the field to what's going on and all that, but I'm also looking at what is the IT is going to do, the humanity, the mind, the responses, our attention span, especially the kids' attention span. You know, you see, meditation in all of meditation ways is to always be attentive. Attention is a very important piece in those lifestyles. But with this one, people may lose complete attention span and let their thoughts go all over, and they may be vulnerable to some of the vices like alcohol, smoking, and all. Already it's a problem like that, but this becomes much worse. Okay, so I study IT and AI in that perspective. You know, what is it going to do spirituality, what is it going to do the inner development of a person, you know, the beautiful thing that you can discover within yourself when you turn inward, what's going to happen to that. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so it's very fascinating when you really focus like that, you know. Everybody is kind of focused on productivity. Yeah, all the productivity that you have done, what is happening now? World divided, fighting with each other, and the monies, the all these things are robbing the earth's atmosphere, and we are having a toxic weather. So you get to pause and think: is all this information needed? Is all the information has to be with me, or they can be there on the computers? I can tap into it when I need. So that kind of thing is there, you know. So, but a lot of people kind of, you know, make a escape into the intellect world and then identify themselves with the knowledge that they have, and then they feel good about it, but they're missing out the human nature of it, you know. So intellects can solve some of the problems outwardly, but they can never understand what is the inner being, what is the real richness of that, or the abundance of that. Okay, and that happens when your thought takes its proper place and keeps it quiet when it is not needed. You know, so that's why I always say, be aware, be in the present, and then intentionally use the thought, and then learn to stop it. Don't allow it to go and form networks and all that. Then you become a victim of that network, which settles down in your subconscious. This yoga showed thousands of years ago. They called hidden patterns or tendencies that we develop, and then we allow them to slip into our subconscious and stay there. And then when the stimuli come, they come out very gently. Okay, so you can experiment with these things. You don't have to believe me. I don't expect people to believe me and do it. But you can expect to really experience the feel of being in the present all the time, being attentive, and trying to empty your mind before you go to sleep. If you can do that, you will be very, very happy. Okay. So anybody has any question or any comment, anything you want to add, you can come up and ask me, tell me about it, how you feel about this whole thing I pointed out. I was hoping people will have at least that curiosity about what it is to be aware, what it is to be attentive, what it is to vacate our mind. If you can these three every day, I live like that. That's why I'm telling you. I feel the quality of that. I don't have the brain fog, I don't have the confusion, and I have laser like focus. When I focus on something, I can really study. I'm almost 70 now, but my focus is very laser like because I don't waste my energy on unnecessary thinking, overthinking, negative thinking, all those. And I can go to one thought and stay there and go beyond the thought into that really restful, energizing, invigorating silence. That silence, if you do in the morning few minutes, in the evening few minutes, progressively that becomes better, and then you will really have that feel of that energy that comes with the stillness, that comes with the silence. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of blessed to have that kind of silence in the morning and most of the day also in there. So as I told you, I am mostly in the awareness that is thoughtless, and then I use thought intentionally. Like I'm aware now, I'm aware of where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm talking, and all that. And so I am using thought intentionally to communicate with my friends. Whether they receive it or not, it depends upon them because they may have their preconceived notions. They may think they know better. That's all fine. That's their business. But what I am saying is my way of dealing with information is this formula. Think about it. I'll talk more about it later. Okay. I'll give you a few more minutes before anybody can come, or you just want to studiously ignore me, then I'll not be here. I'll go away. Okay. Tomorrow is Saturday, and I told one of the friends, Melissa, that I'll do a room for her on education. The format is supposed to be she or me will open up the room and she will ask all the questions on education and my understandings about it, where it is, what it is, how is it in ancient times, how is it in modern times, what could be improved in the modern times, because education is such an important aspect of our life. I took a lot of interest in that from the 1985. I've been working with some schools that are preparing the kids for the universe, not just the university. They do teach them a curriculum thing, but then they also focus on their entire development, holistic development. Okay, so I will talk about that tomorrow. It's supposed to be at 10 a.m. in the morning, Central Time. Okay, I will see you then, and thank you. Bye bye.